First of all, I really noticed the beginning of the conversation. There was this seriousness, and then towards the end of the conversation, there was all these smiles coming through, and I noticed myself. I was actually smiling from my end as well. It was a delight to listen to you, Chandika. So thank you so much for bringing this this topic to the table and for being so open in the conversation. That was really wonderful. So thank you. But first question, I would love to ask you, Chandika. So it really sounded like in the beginning, it sounded like you had a lot of clarity around your situation that you were in. And it sounded like you, even though it was like so many things happening, you had quite a bit of clarity, but it sounded like you had been looking at your situation from the same perspective for a long time.
Definitely, yeah. For me, I think, as Ben said, I was looking at it. I've been assessing it, asking myself why, but I'm still running in the same hamster wheel. So his questions made me look at it differently and, have a different lens to it. So it's actually very liberating
Yes.
to be able to clear that and have this feeling aha moment, really.
Yeah. So you felt like the questions really helped you with getting a different perspective.
It's the questions and the way he asked, or how he put the questions, articulate the questions through, made me think about it other than or the problem at hand. My problem may have come across so clear is because I've been evaluating my problem for so long that I know exactly what my problem is, right? But what it didn't occur to me, or occurred to me when he asked me those questions, is not to really look at the problem, but look at it from, oh, this is what it is. And I really like the analogy as well, because I learn and understand on those bases as well. So when somebody gives me something like an analogy, I can put it together and be like, oh, okay, this is what it feels like and how I kind of navigate that. So that was really good.
Your coach today, how he handled this conversation was basically with starting out with bulleting back with five single words, putting it very clearly onto the table for you. How did that help you with getting clarity and looking at things from a different perspective?
I think when everything was put on the table, without it being chunky details, I could see that some of those weren't really that important to me, and pick out what was important and move the conversation. So when he said, in service, immobilize, and then also burnout, I realized burnout is not really important to me now, but what I am is immobile, and then what I want to do with the desire is the service and the block around that. So it really helps see things in a very clear way.
Yes. So it sounds like that from the very first moment. So even though you had clarity around all those things, it sounds like when you put it on the table like that, you were able to zoom in more what was really important for you.
Yes.
Shandika, the metaphor of the finance, finance as your lover. I mean, how did that help you to see things from a different perspective?
Chandika, I'm also curious to find.
um, you know, it's when I was in the corporate world, I was a sales leader. So it was all about targets and revenue and, money, money, money. And then when I moved out of it, I think I came to a very extreme other side of a journey of service. So where there is, this distortion around it. So when he put it across to me as, what it feels like to date and then marry somebody, I realized that, oh, it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm not dating this guy, or I'm gonna just marry the random person I meet on the street. So that what it means to figure out to actually date this topic, really. And that exploring the priority, realized, oh, because in dating, you have, while the person you're in love with is important, so are you. and you it's a dance of this, it's a dance really, right? And then I was like, oh, that is what it is. So it was very, it just like a light bulb moment.
Yes, yeah, we could all see that happening, and I think, yeah, and I think it was such a genius, such a genius metaphor, yeah, metaphor, because it sounded like in the beginning, finance was also tied to the guilt, and now all of a sudden it's tied to a lover, which is so positive. So it was, yeah, it was, yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful to hear that metaphor, and beautiful to see you respond to that metaphor, yeah, to that metaphor as well. Um, yeah, is there anything you would like to share with us when you look back at this conversation that really stood out for you? That you stepped into the role of client today.
How amazing, I'm somebody who's at the core level, right? So how amazing it is when a coaching practice works, and then to see if this, me learning this and the mastery of this, if I go, when I go down this journey, that I can actually help somebody in this way as well. It's beautiful to know, and excites me even more.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Charndika. It was totally exciting for us to see you in the role of client today. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, anchoring, for facilitating this dialogue session, and thank Chantika for this wonderful sharing. Should we all turn on the camera and let's give both ladies a resounding round of applause as a way of appreciating because I use this case study for our deep learning later on. Let's give them round of applause. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this is what I'm going to suggest that we're going to do.